one that I've been recommending to just about everybody is How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This is one of two films we're going to talk about in the platform section. This one comes from Daniel Goldhaber, who previously made the film Cam, which I think we were fans of on Intercut when that came out a couple of years ago. I think this film puts him into like a whole different league, though. This is an extremely well-made film, a amazing eco-terrorism thriller about this crew pulling off a caper to harm the oil industry, as they call it, as a means of self-defense. There's just so much to like about this film. I love how unapologetically radical it is in its political ambitions and the message it's trying to portray. I love that it doesn't really waste a moment. I think the pacing of this thing is so expertly done in that you just get these flashes into these characters enough that you have your bearings, you have a toehold, and you know what everybody's about, why they're there, and the purpose of this all. You know, it's not leaving too much to be for you to try and figure out, but it's also not over explaining itself. And just as a thrill ride, like, it's so expertly done, the way that as they go along, things will get in their way, but be like understandable challenges, and nothing feels a little bit manipulated. It all feels like it's of a piece. It just hit me so hard. I thought this one worked so well. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I loved when the credits kicked in and how they did too. I just felt like electric coming out of this one. I felt like, you know, like goosebumps coming out of the movie here.
Yeah. When you said eco-terrorism thriller, that was one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Right? I think the director described it as an eco-terrorism Ocean's 11, which is like, if that's not the coolest four words I've ever heard, then I don't know what is. Man, this is a good movie. Amanda, you saw this one too. What was your reaction to it?
Yeah, pretty similar. I think you definitely ended up liking it a little bit more than I did, but I do think some of it's a little bit clean. It's based on a book, and I gotta check. I'm not sure what age group the book is aimed at. There's like a few pieces.
It's like a literal manifesto that it's adapted from. Like an environmental activist wrote a manifesto, and they're like, okay, let's make it a movie.
Sick. Okay, because I honestly, when I remember seeing this in the lineup, I thought it was a documentary. I assumed that this was going to be a documentary based on actual like environmental activists or terrorists or whatever, however they want to word themselves, because they actually have that conversation in the movie.
Yeah.
But then I found out it was a narrative one. And I like you were saying, just the way that they tell the story, how they kind of build through the progression of what they're doing. And then it'll cut back to give you those glimpses of like what led to each of these people being involved in this and wanting to be involved in this. Yeah, I think some of the planning, I was like, would this really work in real life? But if the manifesto, if it happened, I guess, like,
I mean, it's also a little bit like Ocean's 11-ish or any heist movie, in that like it probably wouldn't work that cleanly, but like they do a good job of convincing you that this would work. I just was like, I was really rocked by it. I think it's really cool to see something that has such a transgressive attitude be given this kind of treatment and not sort of apologize for it. You know, I think back to movies like The East, where they have similar ideas, but they don't necessarily go all the way in terms of trying to espouse those ideas. And to me, this is like, you know, this is like a heist movie by way of First Reformed, right? Like this is a doom scrolling movie, and it somehow left me feeling good at the end, which I was not ready for.
I thought it was really good. Really cool, and interesting characters, and kind of showing the different like types of personalities that might get involved in this, and not really kind of shying away from some of their like worse potential character attributes and stuff. And yeah, interesting stuff.